Chiefs Kingdom, thanks for joining us here, All Chief Up. We are here talking about Trent Mcduffie today. We're going to be going over each Chiefs rookie and talking a little bit more in depth on these guys so we can get to know them before this season gets underway. But yeah, if you learn anything about Trent Mcduffie today or you like what you hear, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Let's get started on Trent Mcduffie. So we're just going to go from the ground up on this, and hopefully you guys will learn something. So Trent Mcduffie, born September 13th in the year 2000 in Westminster, California. Man, he was born in 2000. How old does that make you feel? Like,
Dude, I was in high school.
Yeah, me too. I was like
even
a sophomore or something.
Dude, I don't feel that old, but these dudes are making me feel super old.
He's 5 feet tall, 11 inches, 195 pounds. He went to high school at St. John Bosco in Bellflower, California.
In 2018, he led the team with a 13-1 record, and they went to the CIF Southern Section Division I playoffs. So in the title game in 2018, he actually blocked a punt for a TD, but I think they ended up losing that game though. But yeah, they were ranked number 3 in the nation that year. So, I mean, it seems like to me he's all the way through high school. You know, him and St. John's Bosco actually had a pretty good time with him. Like 2017, they was a championship runner-up, and in 2016, as a sophomore, he actually won state. So, pretty productive in his high school career.
Well, I mean, he comes from good genetics, right? So his dad's OJ McDuffie, who you all might know as a wide receiver.
Juice. Oh, wait, that's OJ Simpson. Okay.
No, he was a wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins for 8 seasons in NFL. So he's actually a first-round draft pick, picked 25th overall. And I don't remember what year it was. I want to say it was like 93. I could be wrong. I have to look that one up. We'll have to fact check that one. But yeah, he comes from good genetics. He was born to be an athlete, right? I mean, most people, when their parents are playing a professional sport, there's a reason why. They have God-given talent. And a lot of times that, it goes down through the bloodline. So yeah, good high school career for McDuffie. So during high school, I'm sure he got plenty of offers for colleges. We all know that he eventually chose to go to Washington University. But who else did he pass on to go to Washington, Mike?
He was a 4-star recruit, I believe, coming out of high school, and he got offered by a lot. So I'm just going to read this list. He was offered by Notre Dame, Cal, Colorado, Oklahoma, LSU, Alabama, Oregon State, Duke, South Carolina, Minnesota, Arizona State, Vanderbilt, and UCLA. So this kid was offered by like every single school in the country, basically. But what's funny is that he was very intrigued with Stanford. He took an unofficial visit to Stanford in 2018, and it's kind of weird Stanford didn't offer him, but he was very interested in Stanford. So it might go to his like IQ, his character, his maybe wanting to stay home in California. That might be ultimately why he chose a Pac-12 team, to go to Washington. But he loved Washington. He said the fans there like amazing, and he's not seen anything like it.
Washington's been pumping out some good defensive backs in the last, say, 10 years. So, I mean, maybe that had something to do with it as well. I mean, he knew he was going to go play cornerback in college, and he's seen like people like Marcus Peters come out and be successful. And you have others that are out actually in this draft with Kyler Gordon and
Elijah Moden just got picked from there. I think he was the 1st or 2nd round pick. So
yeah, so I mean, that could have had something to do with him choosing Washington as well. It looks like his first year was cut short because of COVID. I think he only played 4 games in his first year at Washington.
It was the second year. No,
his second year?
First year, yeah, he actually played in 12 games. He had 37 solo tackles and 1 interception with 2 passes defended. And then, like you said, in 2020, he only played 4 games.
Okay, I got you. So I had it backwards.
So he did play in 2021 too. He had 25 solo tackles and no picks this last year. But to be honest, I don't think nobody threw to his side of the field.
His intelligence is very high. His football intelligence is high level. I actually have a quote here from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. He talked about McDuffie during a recent podcast, And he said everything he's hearing about the cornerback's football IQ is off the charts. So the direct quote from him was, "You hear the way this kid just knocked out his meetings. I'm not talking about one or two teams. He knocked them all out of the park. Every single team I've talked to has said the guy's mental level when it comes to explaining football and explaining what he's doing out there is just unreal." And that's awesome knowing that he's coming into KC with that kind of football intelligence. And that's going to really help in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, I said from the beginning, the kid is a shutdown corner, but he's automatically right off the bat like a top 5-6 nickel corner. So he's just super smart. He's like another coach in the room, and I think Trent Mcduffie is going to have a nice, solid career. Like he's not going to have the overwhelming stats. I believe like you're not going to see like 5-10 picks per year, but he's going to be pretty solid. And if anything, he's a guy kind of like Honey Badger brought, where he got everybody in position, and he took pride in that at Washington to know every position's like where they're at on the field. And that's what got to his success, to be honest.
Right. And we're going to need a leader on that defense now that the Honey Badger's gone, which I know Justin Reed will probably step in there. He even played with the Honey Badger. So, I mean, he kind of has seen that in action. And I think he's a bit of a leader himself. So I think he might come in and try to take over that role. But McDuffie, he definitely could step into some sort of leadership role early in his career, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I think between him and Leo and all these guys that we drafted, George Karlaftis, they all have got this leadership quality about them. And I mean, I just think McDuffie overall is just a good kid. He only allowed 16 receptions on 36 targets for only 111 yards in his senior season or his junior season, whichever one, this last season. So, I mean, think about that. He only gave up 16 catches for 111 yards. That's insane.
That's crazy, man. That's some Sauce Gardner type stuff there. I mean, people
Yeah.
talk about how shut down he was, and we're looking at McDuffie. He's right there on his level.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
He played 296 coverage snaps, and he was first in the FBS. He only allowed 3 yards per target, and the opponent passer rating was only 52% going towards McDuffie. So they did not throw to his side of the field. But that speaks volumes for Kyler Gordon, too, who I don't remember here. He got drafted, but he had to hold his own as well. So those corners in Washington are legit. Like, they do it right up there.
so with McDuffie coming in here to Kansas City, where do you think he falls into the cornerback spectrum here? Do you think he comes in and plays at the nickel, or do you think he comes in his first year and takes over where Charvarius Ward left off? I know a lot of people's high on L'Jarius Sneed, but I still think McDuffie could come in and take that role right off the bat.
Yeah, Sneed played a lot of nickel, but Sneed may slide out to the edge, on the corner. Fitton right now is having some problems. Like, I think it's a shoulder or something. He may not even be available for camp or these mini camps coming up. So it's possible maybe he takes Fenton's job and Fenton slides in and plays the nickel a little bit. I don't know. I think they're all pretty versatile. I think McDuffie just brings a lot of versatility. Let's be honest. McDuffie's just a football player. I think he would play, I think he'd be fine playing 10 snaps a game as long as they got the win. Like, he just wants to win. He's a good football player. So,
Right. Well, there's a lot of depth in that cornerback room, so nobody's job's completely safe with acquiring Lonnie Johnson and, of course, drafting Joshua Williams. I mean, there's a lot to go around there, so it should be interesting to see how that plays out. But back to McDuffie, excellent college career. And then if you watch the NFL draft, everyone knows Kansas City scooted up to pick number 21. Everyone thought we were getting ready to take an edge rusher, Jermaine Johnson. I mean, that was the first thought everyone had. But Kansas City was actually jumping up in front of Buffalo to take Trent Mcduffie. They knew that Buffalo was, hell bent on a corner. They needed a good corner. And just add a little bit of insult to the injury from last playoffs. We had to get right in front of Buffalo and take the guy that they really wanted, which was McDuffie. If you guys have seen that clip of Buffalo's war room, it's priceless. I mean, all their faces drop and they're just like, they just trade up in front of us. They traded up in front of us. They knew what was happening. So they resorted to Kyer Elam. So I think that's going to be kind of like a little rivalry type thing there. Everybody's going to be comparing McDuffie and Kyer Elam this season, so that should be fun to watch as well. But McDuffie goes 21st overall to the Chiefs. Excellent pick for Kansas City, excellent value for Kansas City, and a great situation for McDuffie.
I think if you put that in perspective and look at the job that Veach did, McDuffie, he's a top 2, top 3 guy, maybe even number 1 on some boards. and we had him falling all the way to 21, whereas Buffalo had to trade up to take Kyer Elam. And to be honest, Elam was falling out of the first round in some of these drafts, these mocks and different things. Like people were saying Elam could fall a little bit. So it kind of shows what a good job Veach did to be able to come up and take like maybe the number one guy, whereas the next one off the board had to be coming up to reach on somebody kind of. So
Right. Well, that just puts into perspective what kind of a corner we're talking about with Trent McDuffie, because Kyer Elam is no pushover. The guy's an athletic freak. He's long. He did not allow much in college. He had a great career at Florida. And people, they were upset that they lost out on McDuffie. And not saying that they're mad that they had to settle with Kyer Elam, but that's kind of what it looks like in that video. Just a little odd fact about McDuffie I thought I should throw out there. He is all about some music. He's a self-proclaimed instrumentalist. He says he plays several different instruments like ukulele, guitar, I want to say piano. There was a lot of things in there, but he's also into a lot of hip hop and rap. He loves Nipsey Hussle. He loves 90s rap. He cited Tupac and Biggie and all of them as influences on him. So he's a very musical guy as well.
I love Tupac, man. Do you
Who,
remember
who doesn't?
I had the All Eyes on Me album, like probably in like 7th grade or something like
Yeah,
that. And I was just
like
jamming it.
stuff you shouldn't have been listening to, but you did
Dude,
anyway. You hid the CD in your bedroom away from your parents because if they saw the explicit lyrics on there, they were going to throw it away.
dude, how do you want it? How do you want it? The song, I think Casey and JoJo was on this song with him. Love that
What?
song.
I don't even remember that.
I still can. That's my jam. If we go do like some karaoke, man, I'm gonna pull out some Tupac on you.
Nothing but a gangster party.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
That was a wild one. McDuffie, did you know why he got 22 in Washington? Why he wore number 22?
Why do you wear 22 in Washington?
Well, he didn't ask for it, but he said once he just felt like he wanted to go to Washington, and when he got in there, he seen his name McDuffie. They give him number 22. He called his mom instantly, and he was like, "Can you believe?" He's like, "This is where I was supposed to be." So apparently, he had a brother named Tyler, and he tragically passed like before McDuffie got to college, and his brother Tyler wore number 22. And so when he got to Washington, they just randomly give him 22, didn't know nothing about the story. And he said that it was just like, he felt that that's why he chose Washington. That's why he wanted to be. And it just fell in.
That's a cool story, though. I did not know that. Obviously a tragic story, but it's very cool how that worked out for him.
I've noticed there's with Veach, we're going to get to it a lot with Karl Loftus and, some of these other guys. There's been a lot of like trauma and tragedy within these guys, and they've lost people they really care about. So I think, I mean, to make a negative into a positive, I think, some of that stuff translates into these dudes having really good character and having a good work ethic and just like wanting to play for something bigger than just, fame or whatever. Like these dudes are like good kids, I believe. And I think this kind of speaks to it. And like, we're going to learn more about that with Karl Loftus. He lost his dad and
Isaiah Pacheco. He had a rough one
Pacheco
too.
lost his brother and his sister. So yeah, we'll get to these guys more in depth too. But yeah, I do think that shapes these guys, and it makes you realize football is not the only thing. And these guys know what they're playing for. So I think those are like cool little things, to where you can turn negatives into positives.
What kind of numbers did McDuffie have in the combine? That way we kind of know what we're dealing with athletically with him. We know he's smart. We know he's got the high football IQ. We know he's got good character. So what's the measurables?
He has 29 and 3/4 inch arms. Now, they said that we wouldn't take somebody under 30-inch arms. Wasn't that what they told us?
Of
And
course.
we did. He has pretty good sized hands, 8 3/4 of an inch hands. And then he ran a 4.40. So the kid's fast. He's going to go toe to toe with any receiver in the league. So again, whether he's on the, on the outside boundaries, on the perimeter, whether he's covering the slot, whether he's taking running backs out of the backfield, Trent McDuffie's going to stay, he's going to stick with him like glue. So
that's great considering where the wide receiver position is heading in the NFL. They're just trying to get the fastest guys they can get, starting with Tyreek Hill. He kind of changed the game. So, I mean, it's going to be a good thing to have corner that can then stick right there with them on their hip.
This was the most impressive thing I found about Trent McDuffie. In his whole entire college career, how many receptions of 20 yards or more do you think he give up? Like, what would be a good number for you?
You saying his college career?
Yeah, in his entire 3 years, 20-yard receptions or more. Like, what do you think would be a good number?
I don't know. You would think 3 a year would be almost a given, right?
Right.
So let's just say 10 for the whole career. 10.
10. He had 2.
Wow.
This dude had 2 receptions of 20 yards or more. Like, how shut down is that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, that's about all I got with McDuffie, though. But, like, did you get to look at him and see, like, who's your comp on him? Have you got to do any of that?
I don't really have a good comp for McDuffie. What'd you come up with?
I come up with Marshawn Lattimore. I thought
I could see that.
Pretty similar to Lattimore. And, the versatility, the way he covers, the way he can run. If he turns into Marshawn Lattimore, I mean, that's a good pick. I mean, I think he'll be better than Marshawn Lattimore, to be honest.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was no secret. I wasn't, like, thrilled that we took a cornerback in the first round. Like, we traded up and took a cornerback. That wasn't my ideal situation. But in hindsight, looking at the value, looking at how things played out, and just Veach's board in general, I think it was an excellent pick. The more I've learned about McDuffie, the more excited I get to see him play. And I'm very excited to have him as part of the Kansas City Chiefs. So if you guys, Chiefs Kingdom, if you guys are excited for Trent McDuffie and you guys can't wait to see how he performs on the field, give this video a like, subscribe, hit the notification, stick with us. We will be back with more. We are going to talk about all the Chiefs rookies and let you get to know them before the season kicks off, because it's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a good season. So I'm really excited. A lot of new talent for us to get to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing McDuffie out there on the field. And in the next one, we're going to do our second first-round pick, George Karlaftis, the Greek Freak.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss the Greek Freak.
If you think McDuffie's a cool guy, wait till you hear about the Greek Freak. This dude is a monster. So, yeah, man, that's all I got today, Steven.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to All Chiefed Up. Be sure to subscribe and follow on all social media at allchiefdup.